Hello YouTube, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I do appreciate you stopping by. If you find any of this content valuable or helpful in your prepping journey, if you would, like, subscribe, share, give me a comment, thumbs up, I would appreciate it. I'm going to show you how to keep 100 gallons of water storage at your home in case of an emergency, no matter if you're on city water or well or what have you. And I'm going to show you how to keep it pumped into your home when all the systems fail, no matter what it is, utility outage, power outage, your well fails for some reason, you'll have 100 gallons of water storage on hand, and it runs off a 12-volt power supply. I'm Ted. Let's test this out. All right, guys. They say you can go 3 minutes with no air, you can go 3 days with no water, and you can go 3 weeks with no food. So obviously I'm gonna have some water stored up. I've got 100 gallons of fresh water. What I've got right here, I've already done this. I've hooked up my positive and negative leads to my jump box. All I've got to do when I get ready to test this is turn my jumper clamps on. I'll show you that. And they come in here to this 12-volt RV pump. I'll put a link to the box and to the pump in the description below. I'm on a well, and this pipe here comes directly from my well, goes up. I put arrows so it would make it easy to follow it. There's a valve there. I got a check valve, and that is just the air vent so the tank does not get airlocked when we're using it off of the pump system. This is a 100-gallon stainless steel commercial water heater that was damaged. The outside was damaged, everything else was fine in it. I got it from the plumbing supply place, very cheap. So what happens is we never have stagnant water. The water is always moving into the tank, keeping the tank filled, and it comes out the bottom here. And when we're not using it as a backup, the water pressure comes through here, goes all the way down here, and then this T going that way goes directly into the house. If we want to go to emergency, which I'm going to show you here in a minute how we do that. If I want to simulate a grid down, all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, a grid down, power outage, it don't matter. This valve right here, that's the main water coming into the home, and I just shut that off. So right now I'm going to drain, see if I can do it with one hand. Got the water hose out here. All right, you're going to see a drop in the water pressure. My well set at about 60, so we'll let all the pressure drop off of the house that's already built up. And you can see it's already getting slower. And this is, when I cut that valve off, I'm not getting any water from my well at all. It is, this is just the water pressure in the home. And you can see how it's dwindling. So once that gets down good, I'll be able to show you. So if the power did go out, or if you're in on a city utility, all you really have to do is, if you can do it or a plumber can do it, go in and catch the water line coming into your home, which would be the same as my well coming in, but you would catch the water line coming into your home and divert it over to a tank like this, and you can replicate the system. All right, so water is pretty much non-existent, so that's good. Okay, so we know we've got the house pressure off. I'm gonna lay that right there. All right, so we've got a grid down situation with this valve being off. That would simulate no electricity to the pump, in the well, or anything like that. So now we come in, I have to come out here, I have to turn this valve here off. When I do that, that diverts all the water here straight through to this valve. I'm gonna cut this valve on. What that does is it puts water into the pump, so the pump can pull water out of the tank and go through that hose. And now we're going to come up here and we're going to turn that valve on. Now that's the house pressure there. Now it's feeding the home off of my 100-gallon storage. We're just going to come down here to our battery box right here. We have an on-off switch there for my cable clamps right there, clamp power. We're going to turn that to on. You can see our water is just drilling the last little bit out of the house. All right, so in a grid down situation, I would have to come out here and hook this up, do the valves like I showed you, and then we're just going to cut this on. And you may hear that going. This pump will shut off at 60 psi. And right now you can see the water start to pick up. Got to get the air out of it. But you can see it's already starting to pick up. Plus it's got to fill the rest of the house up that we drained down. But yep, the pump's working. And we're steady picking up pressure. We're getting the air out of the line. But if you're in a grid down, guys, and once this builds back up pressure, the pump will cut off. So that's how we store our water. You can store it in IBC tanks. If you're on city water, you can do this. I'm gonna turn this off and let the pressure build up a little bit more. So the pump will cut off, because I did want to make sure that's cutting on and off properly. You can probably still hear it. But you can do this on city or on well and have 100 gallons of stored water. We also store bottled water in the garage. If you're in the city, pretty much your only resort is going to be bottled water, something like that. Be careful where you're storing it on shelves and things of that nature, because water weighs 8.33 pounds per gallon. So you don't want to have a shelf in your closet that you overload and everything ends up collapsing. So having a backup water supply is crucial in your prepping journey. Even, you know, if nothing major is going on, just something as simple as infrastructure goes down for a little bit of time, water main break in your neighborhood, something like that, you'll be prepared for it. But this is a pretty inexpensive way to do it. I'm going to link the pump right there, and I'm going to link the jump box, okay, in the description below. And see, it just is shut off. It's 3 gallons per minute is what that'll send out. Let's see. You see that? Okay, so the pump is cut off. So we've exercised that. We know that's working. So let's cut this hose back on. See what kind of pressure we get. Okay, we got great water pressure. That's out there a good 20 feet. Pump just cut back on. So I know it's working properly. I know my 100-gallon water storage is up to my preps. And people ask me, well, what do you do when this tank runs out of water? What I would do is I would take my generator over to my garage. I've got a plug for it that runs my well. So what I can do then is I can run my generator long enough to fill this 100-gallon tank up from my well. And instead of having a generator sit out by the well for a duration of an event running, this way I can fill it up, use it sparingly to cook with, drink, whatever. It takes a gallon a day per person. So with 2 people here, 100 gallons, that would be technically 50 days. I don't think it would last that long. I really believe you need like a gallon and a half per day if you go involved cooking and washing, things like that. So that's what we do. I ran my generator. It took me 5 minutes 48 seconds to fill this tank up. I've already tested it. And so a gas generator is going to use very little fuel to fill this water tank back up. You can also have IBC tanks. You'll have to pipe it in a little bit differently. just because you're not going to be able to maintain pressure in that IBC tank. But if you didn't have a way to maintain the pressure in an IBC tank, you put one of these in right here and hook it up to your house. You put it in this pump, you hook it up to your house. You can use that IBC tank as your water source, and you can keep it filled up. Like I say, if you're in the city, you're at a big disadvantage with your water storage. You can use, your bottled water. You can use buckets, milk jugs, empty 2-liter bottles, anything you've got, as long as you've got it good and cleaned out. That's what matters. So with that being said, I'm pretty confident now. My battery box is working. I know it would. The pump is cutting on and off like it should. There's no leaks. The pressure is excellent on it. So my whole house is having about 60 psi, and that's how we would get through it. If you live in the city and your tank is full and you don't have any other backups, you need to have bottle backups, things like that, because until your city water comes back on, if you're piped in like I am here, it's not going to refill your tank, and you would have to use it very, very sparingly. And who would know if that infrastructure would come back on in a timely manner? So just be sure, guys, that you are stocking up on your water, and because that's a major thing. Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, list it in the comments. I'll be glad to help you out with it, what I've done here. Also, you do not have to have a battery box like this. You can run that pump on 12-volt DC, so you could pull your car around, with a set of jumper cables to your car battery, come out and start your car, every few hours to charge the battery back up, because this pump really doesn't consume that much energy. You could do that, like this right here. I would set it up. I've got a small trickle solar panel that I can wire into it and keep it charged, pretty much indefinitely. Just cover the box up so it don't get wet or what have you, anything like that. So anyway, guys, I do think water storage is a big part of your prepping journey. I hope this helped out a little bit. Until next time, guys, I'm Tad, and we will talk about it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.